I'm going to an event tomorrow, which means that tonight I was being a very, very good steward of my things, and I was laying out all of my things that I'm going to need for that event. And I was looking at my ball gown and I thought, I've worn the same exact ball gown for almost 10 years now, and I've done almost nothing to it. Is it my best work? No, I made it about 10 years ago. I've come a long way, as I should. And I don't want to hate on my ball gown. I love it. It's pretty, and I don't want to like take it apart or anything. I also met my now husband when I was wearing this dress, so it's very, very special to me. So I was thinking, maybe there's a way I can spice it up a little bit, right, Lucky? Right. So I got this idea of like, what if I just like add some like different accessories, like re-accessorize to like make it like more wow. And I went to my Pinterest board of mid-Victorian ball gowns, because that's what this is why we have Pinterest, and this is why you spend hours on Pinterest, is for when you have a time like this, when you need something now. And I came up with this beautiful fashion plate. I will show you now. Isn't it lovely? I think it is beautiful. As you can tell, we are focusing on the purple dress. And with the purple dress, they have this beautiful lace overlay. And then I was like, oh my gosh, what is this thing called? And I spent like the next 30 minutes trying to figure out exactly what it was called. It's called a fichu, which is not one of the things that I thought it was going to be. I Googled like overlay, sleeveless jacket, mantilla, which is a mantle. No, it is a fichu, which in the 1700s, this is a fichu. So I get where it came from. I just that was not the first thing that I thought of. Lucky. This is a very needy baby. I spent most of the day outside, and she was not, she doesn't like to go outside. I rescued her from the outside, and now she refuses to go outside, ever, right? Yes, you're a good little house cat. Okay, so I don't have a pattern. I have like this book that kind of has a draft of a pattern in it. It gives you like 0 other things to go with on though, and it's not exactly the same style. So I have less than 24 hours. Let's see if this harebrained scheme of mine actually works. So this is a book that I've had for a while, 60s Civil War era fashion patterns, and it does actually have a pattern for a fichu in it, I realized as I was looking around. And I should have just come to this book first and saved myself all of that time on the internet Googling and realized what this indeed was. So this is a fichu. This is from 1864. I saw this exact same pattern in the Mot Illustrée when I was looking up and researching my other fichu pattern that I really liked that I saw on my Pinterest board. So this one's really nice. It has some ideas of what to do over here for how to pattern this, and also has a description, which I think is straight out of the Mot Illustrée, because some of it doesn't quite make sense for our modern language, like a wide white lace or blonde. Anyway, but this is intended for dinner or evening wear, and basically it's so you don't have to trim your bodice, you just trim this, not the bodice. And it says that it's usually made of any bright colored silk and is covered with white wool or net, but plain over the silk. Anyway, I'm excited. Let's get working on this. We don't have much time. I then got the idea to use my Past Patterns ball gown bodice as a template for the bodice of the fichu, because it was kind of similar. Now, I am trying to make this in like a 24-hour time frame, so there is no time to go get fabric. I went to my fabric stash and just decided to see what I had, because that's the only way this is going to work. I started this late at night. There's no time to order fabric. There's no time to go to a fabric store. Let's see what I got. I have a whole bin of fabrics that should work. It's just if there's enough and if I like it. So, these are all delightfully frothy fabrics. I think mainly what I'm going to be looking at is, since I have, this is basically the only thing of lace trim that I think is pretty, and also that I definitely have enough to go all the way around that fichu. And I like this one because it feels like there's some weight to it, like I could actually put it on, versus this netting, basically, that I was like, I feel like I am wearing air. But this is a little bit more cream colored. And this is a little bit more white. But I do kind of like how that pops. Really pops the lace, doesn't it, Lucky? Where are we looking at? Is Yo-Yo here? Are you scared that Yo-Yo's here? It's okay, I'm here to protect you. So, I might go ask the husband's opinion. Because I just want a second opinion. Because then I could do this, and then like I could cut out some of the lace things, and it could be like, ooh, isn't that so pretty? I don't think I'm going to do the purple. That's just a little bit too much and not like, I don't know, it doesn't feel as Victorian. They have like white and black lace, and this is close enough to black lace where I'm like, ooh, it could work, but unless I do that over, no, that's just too much. Too much, because I want it to complement the background, not overpower it. Okay, so not this. Take that away. This might be called upon for some service. But really, I just gotta figure out if it's this one or this one. Also, I guess I should, you know, see what it looks like on the dress. Let's drape.
It was also during this project that I did a little bit more draping on my dress form than I've ever done before. My dress form is not really great for draping. It doesn't have that plushiness that you can push pins into. But since I'm doing this on a dress, I can pin to my dress. So here were the two fabrics I was thinking about. I like the thicker one. That's a little bit more of a sheen. So here's the Ballgown bodice. I just took out the center front, and I'm using the other three pieces. So I'm using the back, the side back, and then the side front. Just not the center front. And that's how I'm going to make the bodice of my 1860s Fichu that I'm going to get done really soon, hopefully, so I can wear it to that event that it's going to be tomorrow night. So I pinned those down and then cut it out, and then the rest of the fabric that I have I'm going to use for the skirt. Now, do I have a pattern for the skirt? No, not really. I'm just going to take some measurements and figure that out later. This fabric is so sheer, it felt like almost I was like pinning and sewing air because it's so translucent and so fine. The other thing I had to think about was, ooh, you're going to be able to really see all of my seams here, so I better make sure they're nice and even. I'm not really going to do anything to finish my seams. I don't have time for that, and I don't really like doing that anyway. So as long as I'm just going to cut them nice and even and short and call that good. Now that I have the bodice together, I'm going to try it on my dress form and see how it lays over the ball gown itself. I did technically use the same patterns for this, so you would think they would line up, but we're having a little bit of a off the waist, longer waist situation. One of the reasons why I'm making this Fichu is because I don't think the waistline on this ball gown is correct, and I'm trying to make the Fichu to hide that. I made this like 10 years ago. I've come a long way. I know a lot more about historical fashion now. I'm just trying to make it better, but I also don't want to just get rid of this dress because I love it and it's very meaningful to me. Now, I am trying to make these fun little like over the shoulder panels, basically going to be like the sleeves or go like over the sleeves that are going to be nice and lacy and fluffy. And I didn't really have a pattern for this. I'm looking at the one in the book and like trying to come up with it. Theirs was a little bit more swooshy, and I was like, what if I just make two long rectangles, I pin them where I want them to go, and then I will cut it after I see how it looks. Because I like the length where the sleeve is, but we don't want it going all the way down. That doesn't look very good. Like I said, I have done so much more draping in this project than I had in basically any other project. And here I am trying to decide what trim I want to use. I definitely want to have some sort of trim on the edges because this is almost invisible, the Fichu fabric, and I think giving it a solid edge is very helpful in just like creating a line. So this is what I decided. I pinned the trim where I wanted it to go, and now I am just cutting the excess off. And then I'm going to take that one down, lay it on the floor, and do it. And then cut the other one using that one as a pattern. And I also did a little trimming along the waistline. I also did some trimming along the waistline because they weren't matching up exactly how I wanted them to. So there we go. Now I am going to do a double folded hem on these fun little over pieces, and also sew the lace on. But I'm going to do the double hem first and then attach the lace. And here is the trim that I picked to go on the edge of these over shoulder, I don't know what I should call them. They're not quite epaulets. They're like fun little doodads. This lace came from my stash. Everything from this project came from my stash because I'm making it in like 24 hours. It's not like I planned to do these 24-hour challenges. They just kind of happen. I just do this to myself because I think I have a great idea, and you know what? I have a thing to wear it to in like tomorrow. It usually works out okay. I work very well under pressure and with a deadline, so here we are. I am using a sewing machine for this project for speed. If I'm hand sewing this, forget about it. It ain't happening. But if we're doing an 1860s Fichu, they would have had sewing machines. Sewing machines would have been very common by this time. So it's historically accurate. I am now attaching my fun little doodads to the bodice. I am attaching it at the front. So that way, when it bends over, it'll hide the seam. And I'm going to do that on each side. I am now going to add some really large lace right where that seam is, and I'm just going to top stitch it down, so that's going to really hide that seam, and now creates this really nice double layered lace effect that kind of follows those little shoulder doodads, but it just like adds another frothy layer, and I think it is so delightful. Looking back on it, I wasn't so sure if this was a good idea, but I'm very happy I did it. I think it was the right choice. All of my cats have loved going under hoop skirts. It is just a thing that they like to do. They feel safe and secure under there. They're like, this is my little home now. And Lucky is no exception. She was very happy that I left the hoop up while I was doing this whole project.
So this is what I got done tonight. It's about time for me to go to bed. We have the bodice and the floofy things pretty much together. I don't have the skirt cut out. I'm just kind of pinning and draping it. I don't know if I like it. It's hitting at the waist, which is like good if this was like a dinner dress, but I do have this section down here, so now it looks kind of weird because it's not coming down as much as I had hoped it would to meet lower. I'm not really sure how to deal with that. I do have these flowers here that I was going to have be at the bottom, so maybe that's how I hide it. Let's just kind of put those flowers there, and then maybe I like it a little bit more. Actually, that does kind of solve my problem. I don't know. Not sure if I like it, and I'm not sure if I will actually finish it for tomorrow. We'll see. Or ever. I'm not sure. So I think I'm going to try to finish it before I judge if I like it or hate it or not. And also I want to try it on me because I have a feeling this is the first time I'm ever using this dress form that I got. And even though it said like its measurements were going to fit, it doesn't. This is actually, it barely closes in the back on the top, and it won't close on the bottom, like around the waist. So while it looks like it barely closes here, it will actually close better on me because this dress form is apparently a little bit big. And yeah, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to cut out the skirt portion. And I don't know, I think it'll look nice because it'll be like all pretty hanging here and kind of give like a nice little glossy overlay. I am worried about it sitting on the shoulders and like puckering weird in the back here. So we'll just kind of get to that when we come to it, and I'll try it on like for reals on me. What if? But I want it like here, and maybe I'll have to like do some pinning or something. I want it like there. Okay.
To draft the measurements for the skirt, I took the measurement from the waist all the way down to the hem over the hoop skirt. It is critical to measure over your underpinnings, especially if you have a large bustle, hoop, panniers, things like that. Definitely measure over those. So I took those measurements and then I basically used the rest of the fabric that I had, because what else am I going to use this for? I don't know. But I do know I'm going to make a nice big skirt for this, and I want it to look delightfully fluffy, which means full. So I went ahead and I sewed that together, and you know how you just have like a moment of crisis like in every sewing project where you're just like, this is terrible, why am I doing this? Well, I had one of those the night before, but then when I came in the next morning, I was feeling much better about it and decided to actually finish it and wear it to the event that was happening this evening. So once I got the skirt together, I attached the bodice. I just laid right sides together and pinned that around after sewing the skirt together and then gathering it, of course, so it would actually fit to the bodice. Lucky, of course, is the best sewing supervisor. I do think she likes mid-Victorian fashion the best because of the hoops that she gets to hide under. She's like, you can keep all of their secrets and me under your hoop. Yes, I'll just come to an event with you and no one will know I'm there if I'm just under your hoop, right, baby? Once I attached the bodice to the skirt, I then just had to hem this fichu and I was done. There is no fastening. I decided to use a ribbon to fasten the waist and just used a safety pin because time is of the essence. So I kind of just did a little safety pin and then I tied a ribbon around it, and I found some flowers to also kind of put at the center to make it look pretty. They liked florals. I like florals. It's all good. So that was the plan, and I was really happy with how it turned out. I felt like the sugar plum fairy of my dreams wearing this. In my brain, I just kept going flutter, 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 because the fabric was just so light, and every time I moved, I just felt like it fluttered, and it was so fun, and I really like wearing it. I think it helps create the right silhouette for this ball gown without having to rework the ball gown itself. You know, just the accessories can really make an outfit. So thank you so much for coming along on this journey with me. Thank you to my patrons from over on Patreon for supporting my work and making things like this possible. And until next time, happy sewing.